All right. Theme song. 3, 2. And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the podcast, the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. You better believe it's back. Go there. Welcome back in. Here we are. I am currently, hold on, trying to find the movie I saw this week on Wikipedia, and it's not popping up. Anyway, hi, welcome back. Yes, I did say cpluscomedy.com is a website. Go there, and for the first time in months, I mean it, and it's true. Go to the website. I had to migrate everything over from Squarespace to its current provider, Adobe Portfolio, but you can, in fact, now go back to cpluscomedy.com and watch every episode of News Time if that's what you want. Watch every video interview I've done. All the written ones are now on a hard drive somewhere. Not now. They have been on the hard drive somewhere, but the video ones exist on the web, on the current iteration of the website. Listen to every episode of the Constitutionals. Watch every episode of the video Constitutionals. LinkedIn logs and Late Night Lately over there on cpluscomedy.com. So there you go. Follow the social pages. Thank you, Adobe Portfolio. The thing is, I think it was Tuesday. Monday. Monday I was sitting and on the internet as people tend to do on their computers, and I thought, okay, let me see if I could find a free website provider just to host cpluscomedy.com. And I was looking at LinkedIn Logs is the jobs podcast, and I was looking at LinkedIn, and since I have a big screen, I was multitasking. I was looking at LinkedIn, watching late night or watching I was watching Last Week Tonight, and then also looking at my portfolio. And then I was on Adobe Portfolio, and it said I was on the managing part, and said you can create up to 5 websites. And I went, pardon? And for the next hour, I just made a website thinking I could link it. Like I didn't Google if I could link another domain to point to that, because on Adobe Portfolio, it is, whatever the original thing is, .adobeportfolio.com or something like that. And the other website I have there is chadcwhite.com. So I said, why not? I'm paying for this domain. I paid for it for the year, even though the website doesn't work. Well, why? What's going on? Lo and behold, I made that website. I made the portfolio site. And it was, I would say, as equally as robust as Squarespace. However, it's not as shiny and approachable. But I made it, directed the domain to it. It took several hours, I would say. I was going to say a day, but it took maybe about 4 or 5 hours for it to stop pointing at Squarespace and start pointing to Adobe Portfolio. But it's great. I don't have to, I thought I was going to have to do WordPress. I didn't want to pay for WordPress. WordPress is just so, and then also the free WordPress is just hard to wrap my head around. And then you have to pay for like DNS servers and all that stuff. So anyway, thank goodness it's all working for what it is. And then at some point I'll sit back down and add more stuff to this website, but for right now, it does what I need it to do. So yes, cpluscomedy.com. It is a website. You can go there. Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday was a very long afternoon for me, or a long day. I worked out. After the workout, I took Maverick to the dog park, and then I rushed home at 11:30 because at 12:15 I had a Dolby Cinema showing, thank goodness, of Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. As I have a lot to get into. I loved this movie. It was fantastic. I arrived, I don't like to watch trailers, but I did think I would have to get there on time because I did see a lot of people. Are they like me? Jobless ingrates. A lot of people were in that theater. I would say I sit in the first 3 rows. I had to sit in the 3rd row. I bought a ticket for the 2nd row. Aisle seat. I get there. There's a woman like 3 seats down from there. And I was livid. I went, you weren't here. Why would you choose? Even if I saw someone sitting, like if I was this woman who would later leave when there's like 20 minutes, I was going to say 15, but maybe 20, because she left before Leonardo DiCaprio found his daughter. That's the whole crux of the movie. But anyway, she left before he found his daughter. So what are we doing? So she left like with like 15 or 20 minutes left in the movie, which is insane. So I assumed she worked at the theater. But anyway, if I saw somebody, but let's pretend she doesn't work at the theater. If she bought a ticket, if I saw somebody, she also got up twice during that movie. Just didn't care. Just generally apathetic. If I saw somebody bought that ticket, bought the 2nd row, I would go, oh, that person's intentionally sitting there, and I'll sit on the other side. No. She sat 3 seats down. So I walked in, backpack on, my bike helmet just dangling and swinging, and I looked and I went, and the 3rd row is open, so I just sit in the 3rd row, which I try to avoid now because the door is right there at the AMC I go to. Then this couple walked in later than I did. I walked in and like 2 more trailers happened to be playing. So I said, fine, I got here a little too early. But this couple walked in talking full volume. And then they looked at me and I knew, and I saw them buy their tickets earlier, I guess, on the app. And I knew they were sitting in the middle. So I was like, I'm going to sit on the edge and I don't want you to talk to me or even acknowledge me. They did not say excuse me. They basically just like walked past my legs, like moving my legs with their body. I was like, whoa, hold on. And then they kept whispering throughout during parts of the movie. Not as much as as that couple during 28 Years Later, which I talked about when that movie came out, and not as much as the women during Hamilton. But Jesus, that was, oh my gosh. I would have gone on Wednesday because there were 2 people in the theater on that day. I would have gone on Wednesday. However, I had an AMC free gourmet popcorn. So I just wanted to continue to use that because it expired on the 30th. In fact, when I walked up to the counter, it had disappeared from my app and I went, it disappeared. And the woman scanned it. I was like, look, if you can't find it, don't worry. Poking around for a couple of seconds. And then she eventually found it. I got nacho. Nacho was the flavor of popcorn. Anyway, back to the movie. I do not like Paul Thomas Anderson. And I will openly say that. I do not like him. I do not plan on seeing his movies. He does not cast people of color. Trust me, I've looked through his movies. Yes, you could say, oh, Maya Rudolph was in Licorice Pizza. That's his wife. You could say Luis Guzman was in, Punch Drunk Love or Magnolia or whatever. I'm gonna say that's one person. You have to start casting people of color. And in this movie, boy oh boy, did he. So alongside Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, Tiana Taylor, and Chase Infinity, every single person did a great job alongside Wood Harris, Alana Haim, Tony Goldwyn. When he popped up, I was like, oh my God, this guy's on Law and Order and he's still doing this? And then I watched the Law and Order season premiere last night, where I guess he's the head DA, and every scene he was in, I just kept remarking to myself, "Hurry up! I gotta go to set. I gotta go to Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie." I have yet to talk about the movie. It was so good and so fascinating, and it truly. And I hate to say this because it sounds very douchey. It felt like eating a meal. It felt like everything was there, everything was in place, and I'm so glad I was able to experience it. It's a fantastic movie, and and I don't want to talk about awards, but man, oh man, this thing is going to get awarded, and rightfully so, because I think the script that Paul Thomas Anderson wrote was fantastic. It's very timely. They never really acknowledge the year or years in which this movie takes place, because at one point it's presumably the 90s or early 2000s, and then it's presumably today. And the only way you know is based on like the cars. Because at one point there are cars from the 90s and late 80s, and then at another point in late 90s. And then another point it's, 2010s cars. So yeah, it was excellent. I enjoyed it. Everybody did a fantastic job. It felt like 3 movies in one. It felt like 3 separate stories in one. And the only reason I say that is because I just watched Kinds of Kindness on Monday night. And that was a movie that has 3 separate stories. And it just felt like it was 2 or 3 different movies that it felt like a trilogy or a quadrilogy, where it was just everything was just pushed together, and then there were transitional parts. One battle after another. All right, let's move on. Speaking of movies, speaking of where I watched Kinds of Kindness, this comes from the Walt Disney Company itself. They released a press release this morning talking about how Hulu will be integrated into the Disney Plus ecosystem. We know that next year, the Hulu app itself will be sunsetted, but the name and the brand will be folded into Disney Plus. And it'll be a vertical on the Disney Plus platform. And it looks like it's going to be done in the same way as DC and Cartoon Network and Adult Swim and Food Network and TLC are done on HBO Max. Similar to how I'm opening up my apps right now. It's similar to how Hulu already handles HBO Max and Paramount Plus and Stars on its platform. So you just know it's just going to be like a channel within the thing. But what Disney is doing, and smartly so, they're keeping Hulu as the global entertainment, the global general entertainment brand is what they're calling it. So starting October 8th, it will replace Star in the international markets. And they also included screenshots of this new app and how it will look. There at the top, there's a For You, and then there's Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. Under Disney Plus, you'll see things like Marvel and Star Wars and Pixar and National Geographic. And then under Hulu, you'll see the other stuff that is available on Hulu. You'll see like How I Met Your Mother and New Girl and High Potential, the things that are on Hulu. And then for ESPN, you'll see sports. And then what they already have done is integrated a live tab that is on the sidebar under the home button that shows all the live channels that you have access to. So if you pay for the the ads version of Disney Plus and Hulu, that whatever bundle that is, or just the ads version of Disney Plus, then you get access to a limited amount of live stuff, which includes like ABC News Now, I think. At least that's what I have on under my bundle. And I'm not gonna look. Hold on. A preschool channel, I believe. I have to look now. Pop it open. Pop it open. A preschool channel, like a Halloween channel, I think. I don't know. Where's the live thing? Okay, it's not on the app itself. I could go to the website, but I refuse to. Yeah, there's a preschool channel with Spidey and Its Amazing Friends, ABC News Live, and then when you pay for the other versions, you get the Marvel channel or the Superhero channel, I believe that's what they just call it now, and a Simpsons channel. Which, God, if I had the money, I'd pay for it and I'd just leave it on all day. They're also going to add new badges that you see on Hulu already, like season finale, new series, and new movie. And you're going to see more personalized recommendations, which is all the same thing. So yeah, this new app, which is again going to launch next year, is going to be the best of, I guess the worst as well, the best of and worst of Hulu and Disney Plus. My question is, are you still going to be able to get the outside channels? Like if you have the Disney Plus, Hulu, and HBO Max bundle, will you still be able to access HBO Max stuff under the Hulu badge? The same thing goes for Starz, Paramount with Showtime. Also, the Paramount Plus with Showtime Hulu access is horrible. I would never. The only reason I'm saying that is because I currently am. It's ridiculous. Truly, it is ridiculous. I'm not a fan. I paid for it thinking I was going to be able to get all of Paramount Plus, and no, you do not get all of Paramount Plus. You get a lot of Showtime stuff, and some Paramount Plus stuff. None of the Star Trek. No Big Brother, no Survivor, none of that stuff. But this is the world we're living in now. We're going to see a much more concise, cohesive set of brands and streamers, fortunately and unfortunately. Like with AMC Plus, that's very niche and very cool. And you get AMC Plus and Shudder and IFC and all that stuff for a really good price, but it's very niche. But then on the other hand, you get Hulu, which is a brand that encompasses a lot of things, but it's being folded into Disney Plus. These streamers, because everything is so expensive, it's just going to all consolidate again. And I wonder if in the future, because no one could have predicted streaming during the cable era and during the broadcast era, but I wonder if the consolidation, which has happened before, if that's going to break up again in the future, or if this is something new that we're all going to have to get used to for the rest of whenever creating entertainment and watching entertainment dies. Also, Fubo and Hulu are going to be merging, or Fubo and Hulu. Let's see. Fubo and Hulu with live TV. I saw that the shareholders approved the Hulu with live TV deal, the Fubo shareholders. So those are supposed to be two separate offerings. This is just my 2 cents. This is my what I think would happen. I think Hulu with live TV, Hulu plus live TV is going to be sunsetted, and Fubo is going to become the new live TV thing for Disney. So you'll have access to the cable product, the television, the linear channels, and then you'll have the streaming, which is Fubo, which will be their live television product, live television platform, and then you'll have the streaming, which is Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Unlimited. That's just my 2 cents. All right, let's move on. This comes from Variety, written by Jennifer Moss. Amazon's Prime included gaming service sets major overhaul. Execs on new Game Night Party collection complements planned AAA titles. Amazon Luna is their cloud gaming platform, and it's a way for people who want to play games to be able. I was going to say big games, but based on what I've seen on Luna, it is not the best. Amazon Luna. So now if you go to the website, you can see games like Madden 26, Need for Speed Unbound, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and these are games you can buy. And when you buy them, you can stream them over the internet because you own them. However, keep in mind that you can only play them on Luna. Now, if you subscribe to Amazon Prime or Luna Plus, you can play purchased games on Luna. Otherwise, you can't play them at all, which is ridiculous. They also have big games like Death Stranding Director's Cut, Control Ultimate Edition. So they have games. But then there's also a Luna Plus subscription that gives you access to. I'm so tired of these subscriptions. It gives you access to games and everything. Now, the new revamped Luna is going to allow you to play new games like not new, but big games like Hogwarts Legacy and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and it's going to allow you to play party games with some friends under Game Night. It's available to all Prime subscribers. Now, Luna is the cloud gaming service, and it launched in 2022. It outlived On. Is that what it's called? I don't remember. And Google's product. All the other game streaming products, with the exception of GeForce Now and Xbox xCloud, which we'll talk about in a second here. This is Amazon Luna is a good idea. I don't know. I have never heard people talk about it. It's a great way to invest in gaming without having the biggest, strongest PC. But along with that, you have to, like, if you want to play Hogwarts Legacy with the highest fidelity or the best the best looking, then wouldn't you want to play it on a console or on a PC? But then again, if I'm a person who's just like, hey, I heard this Hogwarts Legacy is good. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but I don't agree with J.K. Rowling. Then, I want to maybe, how am I going to be able to play it without buying the game, without buying a PlayStation, without buying an Xbox or a Switch or a PC or a handheld PC? I have a friend who she before Hogwarts Legacy came out, she was like, how can I play that game? I was like, you have to buy a console. And she goes, okay, cool. And then like a year later, I asked her, like, hey, did you ever play Hogwarts Legacy? She goes, oh yeah, I bought a PS4. And I was like, what? Why did you do that? What games are you playing? Nothing else, just Hogwarts Legacy. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of talk about social play with this new update. It has 25 approachable multiplayer games is what they say, and it's called Game Night, one word. Like Angry Birds, Exploding Kittens. But I don't know if people are necessarily sitting down and playing a streaming game together. If I was going to, and obviously this would have been great 5 years ago at this point in time, where people are sitting at home and they're watching Disney Plus things together or Netflix things or Prime things together. But if people are going to be playing a game together, they'd be playing Jackbox Party Pack, or they would be playing Nintendo games, old Nintendo games. I was going to say vintage, but that doesn't make sense. Old Nintendo games. They would whip out the GameCube or the N64 or the Wii and play games together like that. But I don't know. I think everybody's groups are different. And it says it's for Prime members. And then I forgot I don't have Prime right now, and I kept going to Amazon Luna, or I kept going to Luna on the day that they announced this, and I went, what's going on? I can't see. I suppose I have Prime, and then it's so stupid. I don't remember when I stopped it, but whatever. Hey, continuing off of the video games thing, this comes from Microsoft itself, XboxWire.com. This comes from Team Xbox. There's a bit of a kerfuffle for this week for games, and also for Peloton as well, which I'll talk about. Maybe I don't know if I'll talk about it, but the Xbox Game Pass. They said they were I think last week or something like that. Xbox hinted at some big no. They were talking about big changes coming to Game Pass a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months ago, and Microsoft Awards, and now the new Game Pass has been launched as of October 1st, and people are unhappy. The new Game Pass costs up to $30 per month. And it seemed, and along with last week's news that Microsoft is raising the prices of the Xbox Series S and X, the Xbox Series, as well as the upcoming release of the ROG Ally X or Xbox version, Xbox edition. There's two versions now coming out. It's become expensive to be not just like a gamer, but somebody who's passionate about gaming. In the same way that it's become expensive for people who just like to watch movies and watch TV shows and keep up with the latest things. For Game Pass to get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, it is currently $30, and I believe let me find the prices. The premium, the newly renamed standard is now called premium. That costs $15 per month, and then the core subscribers are $10 per month. Now, what you get has slightly increased. Like the advantages of having each one of those tiers has slightly increased. And remember, you don't have to subscribe to Game Pass at all. You could just buy the Xbox and just buy games, and then that's your life. But if you want to play online, if you want to do multiplayer, then you'd have to get Game Pass, which it used to be Xbox Live Gold. You used to never have to pay for it. But that happened with the PS3 era, is when companies started charging. Anyway, which makes sense. I mean, I guess it costs money, but it's just ridiculous. Okay, so what you get with Xbox Game Pass Essential, it used to be Core, but now it's Essential. You get access to 50 plus games with a subscription, so $10 a month, and you get to play those 50 plus games on PC, console, and cloud. I don't have a Windows PC right now to test. I guess you can download those games. It's cool. So you get unlimited cloud gaming and game benefits, including for Riot Games, which I don't know what that is. Online console multiplayer, and then play and earn up to $25 per year in the store with rewards. That's $10 per month. You get access to 50 games. For premium, which used to be standard, you get access to 200 plus games for $15 per month, PC, console, cloud. You also get new Xbox published games within a year of launch. So when a game launches, let's pretend Sunset Overdrive 2 is coming out, and usually on Game Pass, the day it launches, let's pretend it launches October 3rd, then you get to play that game on October 3rd for the price of the subscription, which is $15 per month, which used to be like $16, which used to be $20, but now it's $30. Anyway, but they're saying with this, new Xbox published games within a year. So that means in 3 months, you could get access to that game. Then you get the cloud gaming with shorter wait times, and then everything else in the Essential. Now with Ultimate, that's the $30 per month. You get access to all 400 plus games in the subscription on PC, console, and cloud, you get 75 plus day one games a year. So that means when a game comes out and it's branded by Microsoft, all Xbox published games like Gears of War Reloaded, the next Halo game, then you get access to it day one. Fine. I don't know what the other 75 plus day one games a year includes. I assume, and this is just the cynic in me right now, I assume it'll be, there's like a lot of games on the service that, come out and they're just fine. And that's no offense to them, but they're like indie games that I have no interest in. So right now, the games that are coming to Game Pass include Ninja Gaiden 4, The Outer Worlds 2, and Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which is now published by Microsoft, or co-published by Microsoft. Additionally, with that, you get access to Ubisoft Plus Classics. Ubisoft has its own subscription service that you can access on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. And so that's an additional fee, but because it's on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, that's why it costs $30 a month. But you don't get access to every Ubisoft Plus game, like Avatar, Pandora game, whatever that is, and the I don't know what the new Assassin's Creed. You only get access to the classics, everything that they deem classics. So that includes games like, I'm on the app right now, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which is fairly recent within the last couple of years. Every Assassin's Creed up into the ones from like 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. So it's like Freedom Cry, Revelations, Chronicles India, Black Flag. That's like Trials Rising, the Trials games, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, Valiant Hearts, The Division, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. Jesus. And then EA Play is also included, but that's always been included with, not always, but it's been included with Xbox Game Pass in the past. And then, I don't know, some other stuff. And then you get the shortest wait time on cloud gaming. But remember, it's $30 per month. It's a bad look for Microsoft. People are complaining about the price. And Xbox cloud gaming streaming quality has been up to 1440p, which is fine. The only reason I do Microsoft Rewards, it's not to buy games. It's not to if you're watching the video, you might see that my shirt is unbuttoned like to the middle of my chest. There's like I noticed this putting this on. This shirt is very flimsy. I got it from TJ Maxx. It is missing like 2 buttons. One at the bottom, so below the desk, you can just like see my tummy, and then one at the top. I think, yeah, one at the top somewhere. Anyway, but this is it is so expensive to play games now. Unfortunately, the subscription model is the place to go, and Microsoft said that they have made a lot of money. They made a lot of revenue because of Xbox Game Pass, and their new program. Their new idea is to push Game Pass and to turn everything into an Xbox. Their campaign, their marketing campaign is, this is an Xbox, and they'll have like a TV. This is an Xbox, it's an iPad. This is an Xbox, it's like a toaster or something. But you can access Game Pass and Xbox Cloud via xCloud, I guess, whatever, via a lot of platforms, which is great. You can buy a Samsung TV or an LG TV today. You can go get an LG C5 or a G5, and then you can download the Game Pass app, and then you can play Hogwarts Legacy. What's it called? Whatever the Hogwarts game is, Forza Horizon 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, you can play that without having a console, without having a PC. All you need is a controller. You can play it on your TV right now. You can go buy a MacBook, download, or go to the play.xbox.com, subscribe, and then play. But there has to be an intrinsic value that comes with it. And it seems that, there's a threshold for charging for subscriptions, and they have greatly surpassed it. $30 is asking a lot for something that used to be a lot cheaper. In the same way that Netflix now charges $30 or however much I think they charge $28.99, but it is still so expensive. So, on one hand, you're paying $28.99, but then on the other hand, Netflix is the leader, and they're also offering new shows and movies seemingly every other day at this point. Compared to this, and this is me just playing devil's advocate, what do you get with PlayStation Plus? Now, PlayStation Plus, they give you a lot, but again, I'm going to say this. They don't give you a lot. They give you a lot. I think Game Pass gives you a lot. A-L. But Game Pass should be cheaper alongside PlayStation Plus. I feel as though charging $30 a month and not having a lot of good again is subjective, excuse me. Not having a lot of good games come out consistently puts you kind of at the back of the pack. Whereas for Nintendo Switch Online, I paid $20 this year. I have access to, I don't own them, but I have access to SNES games and NES games and Game Boy Advance. I think Game Boy Advance is on that subscription. I don't know. I think it might be on the expansion pack. Anyway, and on PlayStation Plus, if you pay for the highest tier, I believe, let me go to PlayStation Plus. I believe it's $18 per month. And then if I want access to Ubisoft Plus, I can subscribe to that myself. Or GTA Plus. Or EA, whatever. EA Plus. I don't know what it's called. So you have to, there's a balancing act, and right now they just went over the high wire. Yeah, PlayStation Plus has 3 plans, and premium, again, you get a lot, but not enough to justify a $30 price tag, where I feel as though now this opens the door for Sony to be like, hey, they're charging $30, well, we can charge $20 and still look like the good guys. But I think worth and value are different for everybody. And even I think the richest people in the world will probably be like, that's a little much. $30 is a little much. And it kind of, it's, to change the rewards program where people were searching online using Bing or reading news articles just to earn points, just to, buy an Xbox or play games for free without having to spend money. It's baffling that they would go this route. And it has made being an Xbox only gamer just kind of a hard pill to swallow. But again, you can just buy a game and not worry about any of that stuff. But I say, what's the point in having the console when you could also have the subscription too, and you don't have to spend that much on games? I'm a patient gamer. I'm a patient, I don't have to see the latest movie or TV show at this point in time. I can wait. I wanted to play Hogwarts Legacy, but I don't want to give that bitch J.K. Rowling a goddamn dime. And every time it went on sale on Steam, I went, you know what? This could be my chance. I could spend $15 and play it on my Steam Deck. And I went, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to wait. It's going to be free on Epic Games one day, or it's going to be on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus, and I'm going to play it. Then went to PlayStation Plus, and I was like, should I subscribe just to play it? And I went, no, I'm not going to do it because I don't subscribe to that right now. Now it's on Game Pass, and I have that till January. This makes me rethink having this subscription because I pay for Game Pass via the points system. And am I going to be able to keep earning enough points in order to pay for 3 months at a time? I don't know. Probably not, because I struggled this last time. On like the last couple of days, I'm on Bing going, cat, computer, earning my little 5 points at a time. I think Xbox will have to truly up their game when it comes to making games and making a better Game Pass system. It will have to be exclusives, which I'm not a huge fan of exclusives. As you can see by the dust gathering on my PlayStation 5. I do all my gaming on my Xbox. But you know, they really truly, they will have to work a lot of magic. It will have to be like, they'll have to have more games like Clair Obscur Expedition 33, or games like Hollow Knight Silksong, a game I will never play, but I'm glad to know it's there and I have access to it via the subscription that I pay for. But they'll have to truly septuple times 100 put out more games like that, more often than not. Okay. And finally, let's talk about the WNBA. Let's talk about what's going on, what happened this week. As we near the end of the season, I swear to God, this thing's not working. As we near the end of the season, for the WNBA, we're getting a lot of stories concerning how the WNBA treats its players or pays its players. We've known for the past couple of years that the WNBA does not get paid. The players in this league do not get paid a lot of money. We've known that for a very long time, not for the past couple of years, but it's been more in the stories. The stories have been more not relevant, have been louder in the past couple of years, as the players have become more vocal, and as support for the WNBA has been drummed up by bigger, faster paced seasons and giant players like Caitlin Clark and people along those lines, women along those lines. And it's the WNBA is great, and in a lot of cases, it's better than the regular NBA. But this comes from The Athletic, and it's written by Ben Pickman. Nafisa Collier calls out WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, worst leadership in the world. Now, if you don't know who Nafisa is, she's a forward for the Minnesota Lynx, and she spent time during a press conference on Tuesday calling Engelbert that the NBA, saying that the NBA, she's giving the WNBA the worst leadership in the world. Minnesota lost. They ended their season, the Game 4 semifinals, after the Phoenix Mercury beat them. And Collier read a 2-page prepared statement at a news conference in Minneapolis that criticized the league's officiating, Engelbert, and the WNBA's approach to the ongoing collective bargaining agreement negotiations. Their negotiations are coming up next month, I think, at the end of the season. And I believe since last season, they've been having these talks. Collier is the Women's National Basketball Players Association vice president. She said the league lacks accountability on key issues and that she was speaking candidly on Tuesday because, quote, for far too long, I have tried to have these conversations in private. But it's clear there's no intention of accepting there's a problem. Talking about the officiating, the league has made it clear it isn't about innovation. It isn't about collaboration. It's about control and power. Our leadership's ability to being held accountable is to suppress everyone's voices by handing out fines. I'm not concerned about a fine. I'm concerned about the future of our sport. This happened because I believe she was injured and she didn't play within the last week. And instead of like the officiating unit getting anything right, they just handed out fines. She suffered an ankle injury in the final 30 seconds of Game 3. The injury occurred as part of a chaotic sequence in which she fell to the court as the Mercury's Alyssa Thomas stole the ball from her. That's basketball. I don't know why I put such heavy emphasis on the ST of stole. Irate about the lack of a foul, Minnesota coach Cheryl Reeve charged onto the court, was held back from continuing to confront officials, and was ejected from the eventual defeat with 21.8 seconds remaining. At a news conference following the game, Reeve called out a change in officiating at the league level in a 2-minute profanity-laced diatribe. She was subsequently fined $15,000 and suspended for Sunday's Game 4 when the Lynx were eliminated from the playoff. Now, $15,000. These women do not make a lot of money. They make I believe Caitlin Clark is making $78,000. So you can only imagine how much Collier is making. Las Vegas Aces coach Becky Hammon and Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White were later fined for publicly criticizing officials in comments defending Reeve. Reeve expressed support for Collier on Tuesday, but anyway. Now, the Engelbert responded. This comes from Sabrina Merchant at the Athletic. WNBA players say CBA negotiations are stalling as deadline nears. Engelbert, after this response, Kelsey Plum, who's the WNBPA first vice president, responded to this saying, "There's been multiple proposals that have gone back and forth, and neither is close. It feels almost the more that we have presented, the further away we are, which is just unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I think it's just about the principle of not budging, and we have the leverage. We have the unity." She's talking about the players. "We have a common goal, particularly in salary, and we're just not where we want to be." I was correct. Last year, the Players Union opted out of the present CBA, which was set to expire in 2027. The deadline to come to a new agreement is October 31st. I'm very close to my timelines. The league and union can agree to an extension, as they did in 2019. As for now, the two sides remain far apart, many players say. Now, Chelsea Gray, who is a Las Vegas guard and a union player representative, said, "Not great, not where we thought we wanted to be at this point in time. We're not where we should be or we thought we would be when we decided to opt out. It's not anywhere where we thought it would be. It's market share, it's salaries, it's player safety, it's everything. I wouldn't say that we're where we want to be for more than one thing." You can keep reiterating things. Now, the reason I mentioned Engelbert earlier is because I saw something where she responded, but I can't seem to find it. Anyway, this comes from ESPN, written by Alexa Filippo. Players back Collier and ripping WNBA for a change. We also have people like Lexi Hull, the beautiful and wonderful Lexi Hull, saying that I think I agree with everything Collier said. Lexi plays for the Fever, and she's the alternate player rep for the WNBPA. Where is the money thing I saw as well? 78. I guess I'm crazy. Now, during her statement, Collier also said she talked to Engelbert last winter about at Unrivaled, which is the recently founded 3x3 professional winter basketball league that Collier co-founded and launched last year with her husband, Alex Basil. This is just a way for players to continue to make money and play games, as opposed to, having to get a second job or to rely on sponsorships, or to go and play overseas somewhere. The 3x3 Winter Basketball League was pretty fun. I don't know. I can't say that I watched an entire game, but I also don't watch entire NBA games as well. I barely watch entire NFL games. I like watching sports, but most of the time I will more than likely fall asleep. I'll fall asleep and I'll wake up in the third quarter of a football game. I'll fall asleep during golf. I love golf. But, to expect me to sit there for 4 hours in a lot of cases. But anyway, the 3x3 League, watching it on TV was fun, or watching it online was fun as well. But, or seeing clips was good too. It just has to, especially for WNBA the games themselves, just the in-season stuff, it needs to be supported and put on television more. If you're worried about ratings and such, everyone is worried about ratings. I mean, even CBS is worried about ratings, and they're the number one broadcast network, like 10 years running or something like that. I don't understand why these leagues, even in the WNBA, why these leagues refuse to innovate and to make themselves better. The NBA, to the very least, is as accessible as it has been in the past couple of years. I'm not a huge fan of it leaving, TNT, mostly because we don't get inside the NBA anymore. And yes, you can watch it on ESPN, but it's going to be once a year at this point. The WNBA is not the NBA. You don't those execs, they don't have the bargaining chips that that Adam Silver, and I'm not defending him, but the Adam Silver has. The NBA, you can watch it this upcoming season on Prime, on Amazon Prime, on Peacock and NBC broadcast, and on ABC and ESPN. It's the WNBA. They just got a better, but comparatively a really good, compared to the past seasons, a really good TV broadcast schedule where you can finally watch games on the channels that you have at home, or even for free on Ion or Tubi or whatever. But why are we in this situation? Is because of WNBA execs, heads, and people refuse to be better. Collier said she asked Engelbert why, I'm back at the first Athletic article, why high-profile players such as Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Bueckers, I don't know Paige's last name, were such significant revenue drivers, which they are. When Caitlin Clark started playing professionally, people followed her from Indiana over to the WNBA. Did she turn a lot of people into WNBA fans? Yes. Did she turn everybody who watched her at Indianapolis into the WNBA fans? No, but she turned enough people. She helped tune enough people into WNBA. Clark's salary this season was $78,066. Collier said that Engelbert responded, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything, which is such a wild thing to say. And yes, obviously, as I mentioned in passing, there are sponsorships. There are things like that, but not everybody is an Angel Reese or a Caitlin Clark or a Paige or a Lexi or a Nafisa. There have to be better ways for everybody to make money that they deserve to make. The current agreement expires October 31st. Players are seeking salary increases to at least a maximum of $250,000. They're asking the league to implement a revenue sharing system that does not have a fixed component. Engelbert has said she hopes the deal is, quote, transformational, and that she wants to, quote, significantly increase player salary and benefits while balancing out owners with our owners, their ability to have a path to profitability. If I own a WNBA team right now, I'm not even thinking about profitability. And you probably, this is going to sound sexist, you probably bought it for pennies. So use that leverage. Use the way, have your players do pop-ups. Allow them to play in a league like the Unrivaled League. Allow them such wiggle room that they can make money and that you can make money with them. It doesn't have to be this one way or another thing where they're getting second jobs in the off season and then they're essentially playing basketball all year long. I think that's just an unfeasible thing. I like these players and I think they're smart and I think they're great. And they're just as good as their male counterparts. So why not have them be as celebrated as their male counterparts? If we give stupid men like Kyrie Irving and Jaylen Brown, people who don't believe in vaccines and think the earth is flat, if we give those people platforms, why not give these women bigger platforms. And again, as I mentioned, a lot of these women are very attractive. Don't you want to watch this? I know that's why I do, baby. Hey, listen. If you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people. You can also watch a video version of this show, as well as the other podcasts, LinkedIn Logs, which is the Jobs podcast, and Late Night Lately, which is the late night show over there on youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can also watch a video version of the interviews that I do with celebrities under the interviews. What do you know about that? Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on social media, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. I'm going to stop right now and say the word bye.